it's Jane here. I'm in the greenhouse. It's the middle of February, and I don't know if you can tell, but the sun that's coming from that direction at the moment is slowly starting to dip. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're very, very lucky at this time of year that days are starting to get longer rather than shorter, and that means that we can get slightly more jobs done outside than we were able to a couple of weeks ago even. So because this week has turned into the sort of week that I had so many plans of things that I was going to do in the allotment to get it ready for the mad season that's coming up, they've just all been knocked on the head. But because we've got this extra sort of magical half hour of light, it means that we can sort of break our jobs down, and I can just get one of the jobs that I was desperate to get done. And I'm going to shut up and show you what it is. Okay, our potatoes that were definitely grown this year are our good old favourites, Charlotte. These were from Wilco's. Can you see that? 2 kilograms for £2.50, and you can always see if you get them in these nice net, what do you call it, net bag. These tubers are all nice and solid. That's what you're looking for. You don't want anything mouldy. Ideally, you don't want anything that's sprouting already, because what we want to do with them now is start off the chitting process. Now, of late, chitting has become a debatable process. Some people say don't bother chitting. Some people say you will get a much bigger yield if you do, so up to a third more. The argument is, or one of the arguments is, that farmers do not chit their potatoes. Can you imagine? It would just be completely impractical. So they just throw theirs in the ground, get a good yield. But to be honest, they've got a lot to play with. If you are chitting your own potatoes, the argument is you chit them to get some nice healthy sprouts so that you can plant them a little bit earlier and get a head start on potatoes that you would just dig and put straight in the soil, so that you are going to get an earlier crop and hopefully a heavier crop. So I'll show you what I mean, and I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, one of the first things you want to do when you get your potatoes, if they're in a bag like this, make sure that you take them out. If they're in a paper bag, you can leave them for a bit longer, but you don't want to leave them in the dark for too long. But if you I'm sure for many of you have probably done this, I certainly have. If you leave your potatoes in a bag like this, the likelihood is they will start to sprout. See that little one there? That little innocent looking eye there is going to start to sprout, isn't it? And it's going to start coming through that bag. And once that gets to beyond, I don't know, even a few millimetres long, it's going to be a pain to actually untangle them from the bag, especially without knocking the actual shoots off. So first things first, release them from the bag. Okay, if you're not going to chit them straight away, just make sure that you've got them somewhere frost-free and light. Do not keep them in the dark, for the same reason. If they're in the dark, they will be encouraged to shoot, and the shoots you get will be horrible, very quickly grown white shoots. So we don't want that. We want some nice stocky green shoots. So what we're looking for are these little things here. Let me see if you can see that. We're looking for these little things here. These little eyes, I'm going to call them. Each one of these is going to provide a shoot. Okay, now when you look at your potato, you might have a few eyes coming on. Let's have a look at this one. No, that's just a bit of damage. That's a little bit of damage, but I think that's going to be okay. So this one, I've got a definite eye coming here. I've got an eye coming there. You don't want too many, really. I would say 2 or 3 is the maximum, but that is the way up you will put your seed potato. You want all your eyes facing to the top. You can, if you put it upside down, don't worry, your shoots will find their way round. They are magic. But again, if you want strong, healthy shoots, you're going to want to start putting them that way up. So I'll show you how we do that. Okay, first one in. All I've got here is a nice wibbly wobbly. I've got that underneath because this table is still on a slant. That's one of the jobs we've got to get off. Right, okay, what I've got here are the potatoes. Which way did I say? That one, sometimes they're just not very clear. But yeah, if you look on that one, 1, 2. If you look on that one, 1, 2. Some at the sides, some will knock off as we go along. And we just want to put them that way up. That one, it's got a few at the top. It's also got one at the bottom, but because the majority are at the top, we can put them in here like little potato soldiers. Now I probably could have done, in fact I might still use a smaller tray. Let's see if I've got one. 1 second. There we go. Okay. All I'm going to do is pop them that way up. And then just leave them to work their magic. Now, this is the way I've always chitted potatoes. If you can't see any eyes on them, by the way, just like that's got some on the side, so I'm going to put that in sideways. Yeah, I've always chitted them like this. You can chit them in egg boxes. That's really, really useful actually, because it just holds them. You can see how these are rolling round. The egg boxes just hold them that much better. So if you've got an odd egg box, you can do them in them. But then all you're going to do with these, once you've got them, you're satisfied that you've got enough shoots that are going to come upwards, you are just going to leave them again in a light place. Do not put them somewhere dark, but make sure that it's frost free. Some people, I've got a neighbour who is just popping his potato. Well, he's actually got his potatoes in already. He's got his potatoes in buckets, and he was showing me the other day that they are starting to shoot already underground, and he swears by that. He doesn't chit anymore. So you can do that. Some people put them in the fridge for a couple of weeks, which apparently speeds up the chitting process once they come out. But yeah, I don't see if there's any need. You can start doing this really from the end of January, any time from the end of January really to round about now. If you haven't done it yet, don't worry, but you need to have between 4 to 6 weeks before you're actually going to start planting. So mid-February now, these are going to be ready to go in. End of March, beginning of April. Now you can see there, can't you? Can you see my little army of soldiers there? I could have put them in a much, much smaller box, but that's what 2 kilograms of potatoes looks like. Yeah, so those now will just be dormant now. Look how quick that was to do, and that's been one of those jobs on my list that I've been thinking over and over, I must go and chit the potatoes. They will stay in the greenhouse. It's nice and light. However, because we are still getting cold at nights, I've got these lovely old net curtains, these little bits of muslin that I'm going to put over them. Again, you don't want to put anything over them that's going to make them dark, because then they'll be forced, in fact I'm going to put that in a single layer, then they'll be forced to find the light, and that's when you get the long stalky shoots, which you don't want. There we go. So that'll just keep any sort of severe frost off them like that. But yeah, that's it. What a quick job that is to do. I mean, I'm saying a quick job, that's because I've only got one thing of potatoes, but yeah, I'm going to be chitting those this year. You could experiment. You could try and plant some that you've chitted, plant some that you haven't chitted. So split that bag in half and do one in one area, one in another, and just see if you get a bigger yield from one than the other. But other than that, that's all there is to it. They are now underway and will be ready for planting in early April. So that's it, job done. How quick was that to do? I can now go home and think, okay, I've still got a long list of things to do, but that one can now be ticked off. And I don't know if you can tell, but the sun is really starting to dip over there, and we're getting that real nip in the air again. So hopefully you found that useful. Just write in the comments, drop me a comment below. Do you chit? Do you not chit? Have you tried both ways? Why do you do what you do? Why do you always chit them? Is it just that you always have? And if you've had any success with just throwing them in the soil, okay, as I know a lot of people do, just let me know. It'd be really interesting to find out. Hope you found it useful. Please subscribe, come along to the Facebook group, come and say hello on Instagram. I've put all the links below, and hopefully next time I see you I'll have a few more jobs ticked off the list. I've just knocked that, can you see? That's hitting me on the back of the head. It's time to go. Okay, yeah, I'll see you all very soon. Bye.